It's necessary to target nerve centers in Russia, strike weapons manufacturing plants, as well as arsenals and oil refineries. Valerii Romanenko, aviation expert and leading researcher at the State Aviation Museum, said this on Espreso TV. The Iskander missile system deploys in 20 minutes and packs up in 5 minutes after launch, so striking them is ineffective since cruise missiles won't have time to reach these locations. If the Flamingo has a range of 3,000 kilometers, then we need to strike weapons manufacturing plants in Russia as well as oil refineries because these are nerve centers for the Russians. Typically, they have one plant producing one type of weapon. It receives components from other manufacturers, conducts final assembly, and delivers the product to Russian armed forces, the aviation expert commented. In his opinion, strikes should be carried out against Russian plants and arsenals. With a Ukrainian missile range of 3,000 kilometers, 90% of Russian defense industry enterprises would be within striking distance. This means that strikes, for example, on the enterprise in Yelabuga, where Shaheds are produced, as well as on the Kupol plant in Izhevsk, where the Shahed analog Harpy is manufactured, then our problem with enemy strike drones would be solved. Or this production in Russia would be so weakened that practically all Shaheds on their way to target would be shot down. That is, what remains in Russian warehouses would be destroyed. There would be no massive raids, and more resources could be used against what's left. Romanenko explained. Ukraine is set to begin mass production of its 3,000-kilometer range missile, Flamingo, by the end of 2025 or early 2026. President Volodymyr Zelensky announced. He said during a meeting with journalists, Liga reports. He added that the missile flies 3,000 kilometers and called that important. This comes amid the ongoing Russo-Ukrainian war, as Germany continues to deny Ukraine the Taurus cruise missiles, which are capable of striking hardened targets, such as the Kerch Strait Bridge linking Russia to occupied Crimea. Meanwhile, deliveries of Franco-British Scalp/Storm Shadow missiles remain limited due to low stockpiles. According to Liga, Zelensky stated that full details of the missile program will remain undisclosed until Ukraine possesses hundreds of the missiles. Zelensky said the Flamingo missile has already proven its range of 3,000 kilometers during testing. He noted that it is currently Ukraine's most successful missile we have so far. He said more units will appear by December, and mass production is expected by the end of December or in January to February, depending on testing success and available funding.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky suggested in his nightly video address that Russia has been purposely targeting American investments in Ukraine. According to Associated Press, Zelensky condemned the attack amid the push for peace. Just when the world expects a clear answer from the Russians, an answer regarding the negotiations to end the war, he added. He said Moscow has shown no signs of pursuing meaningful negotiations to end the war and urged the international community to respond with stronger pressure on Moscow, including tougher sanctions and tariffs. Meanwhile, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said earlier on Thursday that Vladimir Putin is ready to meet with Zelensky to discuss peace terms, but only after key issues have been worked out by senior officials in what could be a protracted negotiating process because the two sides remain far apart.
В Мукачеві росіяни фактично спалили підприємство, до речі, американське підприємство виробника електротехніки, і це побутові електроприлади, нічого воєнного. Росіяни точно знали, куди б'ють. Це був ракетний удар. Ми вважаємо, це був цілеспрямований удар саме по американській власності тут, в Україні, по американських інвестиціях. Дуже показовий удар. Як і вся ця масована атака. Якраз коли світ очікує від росіян чіткої відповіді щодо перемовин про закінчення війни. Зараз сигнал з Росії просто, якщо чесно, непристойні. Вони намагаються зіскочити з необхідності проводити зустріч. Вони не хочуть закінчувати цю війну. Вони продовжують масовані атаки проти України та дуже жорсткі штурми на фронт. Запускають ракети по американському підприємству, як і по багатьом іншим абсолютно цивільним нашим мішень. Причому зовсім поруч з кордонами Євросоюзу і НАТО російський ударний дрон залетів на територію Польщі. Дуже неприємні інциденти з дронами були і на території Литви. Це все не є чимось, знаєте, випадковим, це наглість росіян. Нічого, крім сили, тиску, Путін не розуміє. Звісно, ми робимо і будемо робити все необхідне, щоб захистити нашу державу і захистити наших людей. Президент Сполучених Штатів Америки абсолютно правильно говорить, не тільки в обороні це треба робити.
Russian President Vladimir Putin is ready to meet with his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky if certain conditions are in place, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Thursday. Our president has repeatedly said that he is ready to meet, including with Mr. Zelensky, with the understanding that all issues that require consideration at the highest level will be well worked out and experts and ministers will prepare the appropriate recommendations, and of course with the understanding that when and if the matter, I hope when, comes to signing future agreements, the issue of the legitimacy of the person who will sign these agreements with the Ukrainian side will be resolved, Lavrov said. According to Associated Press on Wednesday, the Russian official said that working on security arrangements in Ukraine without Moscow's involvement was not feasible, according to state news agency RIA Novosti. In comments Wednesday that were embargoed until Thursday, Zelensky said Ukraine will hold intensive meetings to understand what kind of security guarantees its allies are willing to provide. The details are being hammered out by national security advisors and military officials. The plans will become clearer within 10 days, Zelensky said. He then expects to be ready to hold direct talks with Putin for the first time since the conflict began. The talks could also be conducted in a trilateral format alongside Trump, Zelensky said.
Наш президент неоднократно говорил, что он готов встречаться, в том числе и с господином Зеленским, при понимании, что все вопросы, которые требуют рассмотрения на высшем уровне, будут хорошо проработаны, и эксперты, министры подготовят соответствующие рекомендации. И, конечно, при понимании, что когда и если дело, надеюсь, когда дело дойдет до подписания будущих договоренностей, то будет решен вопрос о легитимности персоны, которая будет подписывать эти договоренности с украинской стороной.
В последние дни может ли быть...